Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another episode of Guapish, Rule 34. I am your host and I don't know what I'm doing. It's Hunter Nikolai, now passing off to Tanner.
That's right everyone, I'm also here. Merry Christmas Eve.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Introduce the other ones.
Okay, it's me again, Hunter. We have two other special little people. I don't mean that in a derogatory... Okay, Nico...
I'm dreaming of a white Kwanzaa.
Oh.
Interesting.
Good for you, man. Good for you. Inclusivity. And, of course, Jackson.
Hi.
Alright. Well, guys, it's Christmas Eve.
And you know what that means.
What does it mean?
Tomorrow's Christmas.
It does mean that, actually, yeah.
It means it's almost Jesus' birthday, guys.
Whoa! Well, technically.
I can't wait for Jesus' quinceañera.
Right?
I feel like that's probably already happened.
Did Jesus have a bar mitzvah, Hunter?
Looking at the geological evidence, I have no idea.
That's actually a good question. Are bar mitzvahs like an ancient thing, or is it...
I think that's a current thing, or a more current thing. Is that a cultural thing or a race thing?
It's like a Jewish, like, they turn 13 and they're like, you're a man now! Yatta, da, 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 da.
Is that when they carry the chairs around?
Yeah, that's a chair thing.
Nice. I want a bar mitzvah.
Yeah, they break glass and shit. It's pretty sweet.
Opa!
I'll ask the internet.
Why don't white people do cool stuff like that?
Did Jesus have a bar mitzvah? Now, what it heard was, did Jesus have apartments? And I think the answer is no.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Argue that he probably didn't.
Well, Hunter, since we have you here...
Yes, he did have a bar mitzvah.
He did?
He did.
That's insane.
But it wasn't like a party back then. He just would have read something from the Torah.
Oh, okay.
Sick.
Nerd. Alright.
Well, Hunter, since we have you here and we're finally able to pick your brain about all of the theological questions that we have...
Is that what happens?
Yes. You are your utmost expert in this field, I would say.
I guess.
So, Hunter, let me ask you this. Riddle me this, Hunter. What the fuck is the filament, bro?
The filament?
Yeah, the filament.
I believe that's the term that the Hebrew text uses to describe where the waters came from during the flood.
No, that's the firmament.
Oh. Well, then I have no idea what
Hunter,
you're
what's the
about.
firmament?
That's what the firmament is. It's where the waters came from.
It's how we know the earth is flat.
Amen.
What was it for before that, though?
What was what before what?
Well, what was the firmament's purpose before that?
I don't know.
It kept space out.
It did stuff and things.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't there.
That's fair enough. That is one thing that they talk about in there, but they never really expand upon it much at all.
Well, you see, the Bible's not exactly a science textbook,
right?
It talks about what it wants to talk about.
Hunter, do you believe that the Earth was literally made in 7 days, or was it more so not actually? Did it perhaps take millions of years, maybe?
There is different theories on it, and we're honestly not sure. I kind of view it as 7 days because it's easy for my tiny pea brain to, make sense of it.
Yeah.
God said he did it, so I'm like, okay, that's cool.
It's good enough for me.
The great thing is it's an unfalsifiable theory, so it doesn't matter what you believe.
I remember our youth pastor was big on that. He said, well, the text appears to state that it's literal, so who's really to say, I've heard some experts on theology and shit recently talk about it probably wasn't actually I could easily see it taking millions of years, but who knows?
Yeah, but what do they know?
It could be either or. We're not sure right now.
Yeah.
Will we ever figure it out? Yeah, probably not.
You think time travel is possible, Hunter?
Do I think it's possible?
Yeah.
Do you think that Jesus could time travel if he wanted to?
Yes. Final answer.
Okay.
For both regards.
How do you think time travel works, Hunter? Is it is one timeline, so the basic bitch-ass, Back to the Future sort of rules, or do you think it's a split timeline situation like in the Avengers Endgame?
Endgame kind of sucked, so I'm gonna go with not that answer.
Okay.
It didn't make any sense. And, again, I don't know these things, so I'm gonna go with, I don't know, you can just go back and forth, and then, if you change, it'll probably have an effect on
Okay. Let's come up with a movie plot for a movie about a time-traveling Jesus.
This sounds like heresy. I'm in.
So, what do you think is the first thing Jesus does if he decides to time travel?
I think he'd play himself in The Passion of the Christ.
I think that he would come to North America personally, so that he could, like, you know, preach his gospel to the people here.
He already did that.
To, like,
He's
the
called
Native
Joseph
American
Smith.
tribes and such.
There we go, yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense.
And then I think he'd come back later again to tell a guy about it, but, like, do it in a secretive way that, like, you know, no other people really know about, but, like, only that guy. And he'll give him, like, a new gospel to preach to all the people of Earth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That makes sense.
Very interesting. I think that he would have stopped the second.
Not the first one?
Yeah.
Well, you need to give people some, like, agency over themselves, you know?
Yeah, of course.
You can't always just rip it away from them.
Like,
but at a certain
okay,
point,
guys. 1 plane, sure. 2 planes, that's excessive.
Too much. Too much.
He bursts into the cockpit. The CIA!
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Look at this guy. He's making slimes.
Look at this guy making slimes.
maybe he was the one who stopped it from hitting the Pentagon.
There you go.
Maybe the real Pentagon, the friends we made along the way. Okay.
How many floors is the Pentagon?
90?
That doesn't sound correct.
I thought the Pentagon was just like a circular big disc.
No, it's a pentagon.
Like a room.
No, it's a pentagon shape.
I thought that
think
the
it was
Pentagon was like some weirdly impossible thing where, like, you know, how you see it from the outside isn't like actually what's like within it. It's like a Mobius strip sort of situation is how I've heard it described many times.
I believe what you're thinking of is that they designed it that way so that every point in the building is the same amount of distance from every other point in the building.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright, if you say so. Wouldn't that just be a circle then?
Maybe it was easier to build this way.
Alright.
I don't know. Do I look like an architect to you?
A
Honestly,
failed architect, but yeah.
can you do kind of Rady architect vibes?
I like the idea of there being like a bidding war amongst construction companies over what they were going to do for the 9/11 memorial.
Do you think that happened?
Yeah. And there were also going to be companies there that were just proposing to like rebuild them or whatever.
It should have just been a statue of Mark Wahlberg.
There was going to be there'd be some guy at this like town meeting. He's from a construction company. He's like, "Hey, I say what we do is we build them again, but we have a third tower. Because we're New York and we're back better and stronger."
Yeah, that could work.
I feel like you guys aren't playing along with this bit.
No, it's okay. I just think your accent's a little off.
I'm sorry.
I can't get fully immersed in it, dude.
I do find it it's very darkly funny to me that the 9/11 memorial is just a big hole in the ground. There's something kind of fucked up about that, in my opinion.
It is a little sad.
Yeah. Like, this is, like, I don't know. I think a nice plaque, maybe a statue of, you know, some firefighters or whatever would have been nice, but they just made a big pit, and they're like, this is where the building used to be.
I mean, there's something very poignant about that, you know?
I guess, but it seems dark.
I think that's the
like
point.
that's like if for, like, Pearl Harbor, for the Pearl Harbor Memorial, it was just like,
some plane wreckage.
Yeah, like... Yeah, like some plane
A
wreckage.
ship that's just constantly on fire.
Yeah. The eternal flame.
Yeah. So since we're currently in the holidays, you know, and we're trying to get that little holiday spirit going here, boys. Do you guys have any, like, you know, family Christmas traditions at all?
Normally we eat tamales on Christmas, but we haven't been very consistent about that.
Well, we're doing it this year.
Damn, I shouldn't have eaten tamales last night.
You stupid idiot.
Why tamales? It seems like a strange Christmas dinner.
It's fun and quirky.
White people like to steal other things. Yeah. I don't think we had any other...
We've definitely talked about this in previous years, but are you guys a Christmas presents on Christmas Eve or Christmas presents on Christmas Day kind of person?
Christmas Day for sure.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times with my family, though, we'd, like, open a present, like, the night before.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
A little teaser.
Yeah.
A little teaser.
A little cock tease.
Just to shut those damned kids up.
Yeah, you were one of those kids.
I was. I'm
pretty firmly in the Christmas Day camp.
Yeah.
Jackson, did you go to sleep?
No.
When are you opening presents?
The day of.
Fantastic.
I actually saved mine for...
Why?
Oh.
Well, I do anything, I guess.
Nihilism, my favorite.
Yeah.
A nihilist Christmas.
I don't ever open up my presents.
Doesn't even make sense.
I wait for me to be sad. I'm too happy on Christmas to open presents.
If I never open them, I'll never be disappointed.
I just destroy my presents before I open them.
I like the idea that someone just saves all the presents they get during like Christmas or birthdays, and they wait until they feel sad and then they open it. They just have a closet full of gifts. Yeah. They're like, man, I feel kind of bummed out today, and they go open up a gift from when they were like 7 or something.
Oh,
like,
socks.
oh boy, it's the 5-foot-long G.I. Joe aircraft carrier.
My mom did get me a puppy.
I always wanted this as a kid. I got really bummed out when I didn't get it.
Yeah, we should go back to making, like, really excessively large children's toys. Like, you know how they have those little those little, like, cars that kids can sit in and drive around?
Yeah, those are sick.
Make a real size one out of plastic.
Dude, I always fucking wanted one of those things. I was so jealous of all the other kids who had one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
That's just privilege. You knew who the privileged kids were when they pulled up in the new Jeep.
That's right. If they're driving a plastic gray Hummer around.
If she has that pink Barbie little truck thing, then you know that she is a... That's not... Okay.
Hold on.
You know she crazy.
She crazy.
How old do you think a person has to be labeled a whore?
I don't really think there's a particular age thing there. I think it's just all about their mindset.
Gotcha.
Is it the mindset or... No. 13. Finally. Well, at least I only call 13.
Age of reproduction.
Yeah.
Reproduction.
Have you ever seen that? Did you see that Jeopardy clip from a while back where the guy was like, it was talking about puberty. It was like, this age means that kids are like, the age of 13 for boys, the age of like 15 for girls. And the guy's like, age of consent. Whoa, dude, chill out. All
Based?
Right.
That's funny.
Based. Get him off the show. Alex Trebek was like, no. All right, moving on.
Alex Trebek just laughed. Hollywood man, I see.
Hollywood. What's your last name? Weinstein? Weinstein? Whatever. What do you think Harvey Weinstein is doing for the holidays?
I think he's probably just doing what he does every holidays. I feel like they're pretty lax with that guy in prison.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Is he even in prison? I thought he's out now.
He's already out? How can we just
sure.
let a criminal like him back onto the streets?
I don't know. I remember hearing a story several years ago that he showed up to like a Louis C.K. comedy show after being released. So.
Based. Is Bill Cosby still in prison?
I don't know.
Free him. He didn't do nothing. I'm just kidding. That's a joke.
Those women are liars.
Jesus.
They wanted him to drug him. Pudding pops.
What the put your fudge stick in my pudding pop.
Do you think Harvey Weinstein has any like black leather couches at home?
Maybe. I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. Apparently, from what I'm finding about Harvey Weinstein, he is in prison. Allegedly, he's in fucking Rome.
What? Who's this? The Apostle Paul? Come on, guys. That was terrible. That was a good joke. Come on.
That's awful.
It's timely, Tanner. 'Tis the season,
I know someone
bro.
who's in Rome.
When in Rome.
Who is this? The Pope? Oh, there we go. That's something we could talk about. What do you guys think about the Pope saying the gays are cool with the Catholic Church now?
Catholic, am I right?
Yeah, I'm generally not a huge fan of the Catholic Church, but I think that this one is finally a W. I'll give it to him, man. Good
What's
on
funny
that.
is all the cope I see from like online Catholics that are like, that's not really what he said. You see, he didn't actually change doctrine. You see, the Pope can say whatever he wants, but if we disagree with it, then it doesn't count.
Then why have a Pope?
Exactly.
Who is this guy think he is? Huh? Wise guy? Some guy gets to sit in the bubble cart and then thinks he can say whatever he wants?
Yeah.
Bubble cart.
He wears a white gown everywhere.
What if in the next Mario Kart game they add the Pope in the Pope mobile?
Dude, that'd be friggin' sweet.
New Smash Bros. Character.
Pope. They turn the ice climbers into the 2 current living popes.
There's 2 popes?
Yeah, the last pope decided to retire instead of die in the chair. So.
I thought you're not allowed to do.
You're not. But like,
does
you
that
know,
mean
he's
going-
the Pope, so he makes the rules.
Does that mean he's going to hell?
No, I don't think so.
He probably is, though.
I don't think there was an official rule about it. It's just for, 1,000 years it was commonly understood, yeah, you die, you're Pope until you die, and then one guy was like, I don't want to really do it anymore.
On second thoughts.
And I think it's because the Pope right before him, like, he went until he died, but that was during, like, the 70s when we had cameras and shit, and we're like, man, the Pope looks awful.
Tough scene.
Like, he looked like a walking corpse, and like, okay, we can't be doing this anymore. That's crazy.
That's great.
Well, let's look at the Guapish topic, see what we got in here. Nico, what's this Guapish topic you got about swear words?
Well, you see, Tanner, the thing about swear words is that, like, growing up, did you guys ever have, like, a certain words that definitely were not swears, but your parents were still like, you can't say that, that's a swear?
Oh. I mean, there's, like, the simple ones, like piss.
Yeah. I mean, I still feel like that's a swear.
You think piss is a swear?
Yeah.
I gotta take piss, dude.
I gotta take a pisser.
Grandma, I gotta go take a piss.
Piss like a racehorse.
I mean, you know, when we were really, really little, there was simple stuff like stupid.
But.
Yeah, but.
Which isn't fair, because I like saying the word but a lot.
Wiener. I know wiener wasn't allowed for a little bit there.
I hope so. We were kids.
We were simply children, man. We couldn't say those types of things. I knew people who were like, shut up was a swear word.
Yeah, I remember that being a thing.
Yeah.
Not allowed to say that. Illegal.
Not allowed.
Not allowed.
For my stepdad, sucks was a swear word for him, which really sucked personally because, like, you know, I'd grown up so long with sucks being just totally fine to say, you know, something sucks or whatever the fuck. But, like, yeah, once he got into the picture, he punished me for saying that something sucked. It was awful, man.
What do you do, like, drop you down the stairs?
Yeah, he would just, like, push me over the railing.
Oh, no.
He'd sick the dogs on you.
Yeah. He'd leave me out in the cold winter air and entirely naked. He'd throw ice water on me. He'd say that if I could last the night, then I was free to come back in.
Jeez.
But yeah, that one was really fucking annoying. I don't know, Jackson, did you have anything like that?
No.
Did your parents swear around you, Jackson?
Yeah, all the time.
Interesting.
My mom has the mouth of a sailor. She stole it. She still has it.
In case anyone was wondering what's going on with Jackson, he's, you know, it's the winter season. These times are not very great for him, generally speaking. So he's in a really dour mood right now.
He's trying to hibernate.
Yeah. He really doesn't want to be here right now, but, like, you know, we figured, like, the best way to get over these wintry blues is, like, you know, just be surrounded by friends for a little bit, you know, and I think he appreciated the offer at the very least.
I actually got kidnapped today.
Really?
How so?
Because you picked me up and took me to this strange place I've never been.
Oh, yeah.
You fed me gross food.
Yeah.
And now I'm sitting down and doing a podcast.
Do you think anyone has ever done a podcast with like
a kidnapping victim? Like they've actually...
That's a great concept.
That's an awesome... If there were a way to get away with it, I would absolutely start, like, I'll tell you what, here's what you gotta do.
Is Tara admitting to a crime right now?
It's a pre-crime. You set up a podcasting studio in the back of a van.
Mm-hmm.
And then you drive around until you find someone vulnerable.
Vulnerable?
Yeah. And then you kidnap them, you strap them to a chair, and you're like, listen, we're going to do a podcast episode.
We're going to talk about sports.
We're going to... Yeah, and it's just a sports podcast. You're driving around kidnapping people just to talk about the NFL.
So you think the Eagles are going to win it all this year? Sir, who are you? Can I go talk to my mom? Not till you tell me how good Patrick Mahomes is.
Are you a Canelo fan?
Canelo?
Yeah, Canelo Alvarez, the current boxing middleweight champion.
Oh, I know that. That was just a weird turn. I wasn't expecting you to pull that, but good job. Are you a boxing fan?
I'm not a boxing fan. I just know that guy's name.
He just likes to hit kids.
You more the Mets or the Yankees?
Yeah.
It's about the Mets, baby.
The Mets.
All about the Mets.
It's all about the Mets.
The answer will determine whether or not you make it home tonight.
Jesus.
What do you think is a good name for that podcast? Catch Me If You Can. It's terrible.
Taken, the podcast.
Taken the podcast. That's pretty good. Taken, a sports podcast.
Beautiful.
This seems doable to me personally. I feel like
I think we could pull this one off. I think it'd be massively successful.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Until someone catches on and then we get stopped. But we can get one of those vans that, like, local radio stations broadcast out of.
Do they still do that?
Yeah, I see them around. It'll say, like, 107.9, The Itch, or whatever.
The what?
The Itch. That's like a radio station name.
Yeah. Welcome to 105.9, The Bear. Playing Oregon's best country hits.
Welcome to 88.7, The Smell.
Classic rock and roll all day long.
First things first, Good
old Imagines.
What do you think Imagine Dragons is doing for Christmas?
You're acting like it's a singular person.
Do you think they spend Christmas together?
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I like to believe that.
Do you think Imagine Dragons like each other?
No, I think
Like,
that
are
they're
they-
in constant feuds with one another. I don't even think most
Gotcha,
of them
yeah.
like the name Imagine Dragons, but like one guy's just really holding out for it. He thinks he'll be able to make it work.
Do you think they actually like their music? Or are they like just as miffed as a lot of us that they're popular?
Can we not hate that much on Imagine Dragons? Okay, 8th grade me loved them, so...
Yeah, I mean, like, come on. I don't think they're terrible. I don't think they're like the Nickelback of our generation or anything like that.
They
Come
definitely
on,
are the Nickelback
Okay,
of our
I also
generation.
will not accept Nickelback hate. Ridiculous. You're better than this.
I do think the Nickelback hate is a little overblown, just a touch.
Just like the Imagine Dragons. I do think there's a very direct parallel between the two.
Yeah.
Did you know that up until the age of like 20, I thought that Nicolas Cage would lead sing Nickelback?
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
It's a real thing that I thought.
They should do a swap sometime. Like on the next Nickelback album, it's Nicolas Cage, and then in the next Nick Cage movie, it's Chad Kroeger.
There we go.
National Treasure.
National Treasure 4 International.
International.
So, Hunter, since it is a very rare instance for you to be on the podcast, I do feel like we need to get a few more of these biblical topics out of the way here real quick with you.
I mean, I guess. I don't think I'm an expert or anything.
I mean, you went to college for this stuff. Surely you have like a much better understanding than we do at the very least.
I mean, you guys are pretty dumb, so I guess that works out.
Damn.
Ooh, boom, roasted.
Hunter, what would you say your favorite tribe of Israel is?
I mean, Jesus comes from the line of Judah, so that's probably like the best answer to go with. But I mean, Zebulun, that's a cool guy.
Yeah.
Naphtali.
What's the one that black people are from?
I don't think that's how that works. I'm gonna be honest.
No, I heard it from a guy. There was a guy on the street. He was telling me that black people are Jews. He was dressed like Master Splinter from Ninja Turtles.
Was he really? I trust him now.
No, I'm making this up.
It's probably Gad,
I am talking about the black Hebrew Israelites.
Asher, Dan,
Yeah, they called me a faggot.
Ephraim. Somebody from Ephraim called you that?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Do Jews use the word faggot?
I doubt it.
They
I'll
probably
be
get
honest.
called that too often to feel like they can use it against others.
Are people using that to describe Jewish people?
I mean, Jews are kind of effeminate.
What?
Not the Middle Eastern ones. I mean the ones over here.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think that's a common stereotype of them. They're like wimpy and stuff.
Huh. Like,
Dude,
Fair
I've seen
enough, I
Ben
guess.
Shapiro. I know it's blatantly not true.
actually,
Actually.
you yourself would be.
Okay.
The technical term for faggot is a bundle of sticks, so thank you for that. Next question, Your Honor.
Yeah, what would you say your favorite demon in the Lesser Key of Solomon is?
I'm sorry, what the...
You know.
What is the Lesser Key of Solomon?
The Lesser Key of Solomon.
What is that?
So, like, you know King Solomon, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, so, like,
Smart
allegedly he,
guy.
like, built his empire off the back of demons and shit. He, like, used their help or whatever.
What? Where is that?
I believe it's in the Hebrew text.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, he's talking about some weird book that I think like the Ethiopian church uses or something.
Is it one of the Apocrypha?
It's entirely
be one of the
possible.
He has no
Yeah.
idea what he's talking about. He's just like vaguely heard of this shit and now he's just repeating it at
He's
you.
just trying to trip me up.
Well, you see, the
Trying to
Lesser
make
Key
me
of
say
Solomon,
something
like,
silly.
possesses, like, all the demons that he allegedly used and, like, how to summon them and, like, what they can do for you and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if that's real, and I doubt it is, because I don't think that God would have blessed a guy who's using demons to do his bidding.
He has their shit, sigils and shit in there, dude.
Well, that's my take. That's my hot take, guys.
Pardon my take.
Pardon my take.
Hot take,
what,
I
dude?
don't think that Solomon used demons.
Whoa, pew pew. Those are my sound effects. Can we add those in?
Yeah, of course.
Sick.
I don't think I have too many more
Speaking of
Bible
demons-
topics here. Jackson, do you have any big biblical questions for the Hunter here, dude?
No.
Just
Guys,
when he
I don't
finally
think
has a man
Jackson's
who has all
okay.
the answers for him, he doesn't have any questions.
I don't have them. I'm kind of stupid, guys.
Anyways, speaking of demons,
Speak.
Dude, I'm ready to ride this demon straight into Guapish at the movies if you catch my drift.
Guapish at the movies. Fa ra 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 ra.
Okay, well now come on. Hang on a second here, Tanner.
Jackson, what we watched this week?
The Patreon pick, The Girl from the Other Side. Thanks, Tutbot, for requesting The Girl from the Other Side.
Holy cow. Hunter, can you describe the girl from the other side?
She's hot.
Well, she's a child.
A very small child.
She has time.
I don't think
He
she
sees the
died in the
potential in
context of the
her.
movie.
Jackson, you think to tell us a little bit about the girl from the other side?
Yeah, it's a girl that got abandoned, and there's like a cursed guy, and he takes her in, and they grow close, and then they go on an adventure to get the girl back to the humans, and then something nefarious happens to her that's kind of unknown about what the fuck's going on, and then the movie ends.
That's a great conclusion.
What would you say your interpretation of the events in the film were?
Me?
Yeah.
I think she was cursed, and I think she died or converted to whatever the fuck happens from the curse in that last scene, and the flower thing isn't actually her, it's just the fucking guy coping with her still being around. So he's just kind of like around the little flower. It's not actually her.
I see. Like, was she alive at any point in the film, do you think?
No.
No?
What the hell are you talking?
What do you think was, like, going on then?
I think he was hallucinating.
I guess that is one take of the film.
I don't actually agree with that, but yeah.
Turner, how about you, dude? How'd you feel about this movie?
You know, I really liked it for the vast majority of it. I thought it was a sweet little story, maybe a bit basic, because we've seen this kind of stuff before, where it's like, oh, this scary-looking individual finds an innocent child, but they're a good person, so they decide to take care of the child, even though they're scary-looking. My only real problem is I feel the ending does get way too abstract, to the point where I don't know what it was trying to tell me or what exactly was happening at the end.
Yeah, I can definitely feel that as well. Yeah, because just like, fucking... This movie goes fucking balls to the walls at the end of it. To the point where it's like, well, I was kind of invested up until this point, but now, like, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about any of this shit. What do you want me to take away from this?
It's a hard shift, too, because it's relatively grounded for all the rest of it, where it is just them, walking around in a very realistic world where, they're having to, like, eat and scavenge and stuff like that. It's not very metaphorical before the ending.
Perhaps you didn't take it as being very metaphorical, but there were shit everywhere, dude.
Dude, did you notice that the guy was all black and the girl was all white? Oh my god.
This alludes to race relations in the US. The big part for me about this movie, though, was just that the fucking art style is phenomenal. I'm a massive fan of it. It has this really nice storybook aesthetic to it, it just hits differently for me personally, man. The animation, on the other hand, I don't think was as great, unfortunately, to sort of carry that as well, though. Aside from, like, at the end when they're doing, like, all this crazy shit, like, it looks sweet there, but throughout the rest of the movie, it's kind of stiff, generally. And I don't know,
I took that as, like, a stylistic thing.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't. I think it was more so a limitation, if anything. Just because with all this, with this fantastic art style, I'd imagine it's not, like, anywhere near as easy to animate for something like that than as, like, Baku no Hero Academia or some bullshit like that. Outside of that, though, I don't know. The pacing for this movie was generally really fucking slow, and things only really started ramping up in, like, the last half of it or so, and, like, once that started happening, I was much more engaged, but everything prior to that, I don't know, like, the girl's very generic, I would say. She's a generic little girl who doesn't, like, fully grasp the gravity of everything that's going on around her. And I don't know, I wasn't, like, super engaged until, like, all the fucked up shit really started happening later.
I liked the slower parts more, honestly.
You just like seeing this little girl and this big monster man just trying to get along, just trying to make their way in this world.
It made my cold, cold heart feel something.
You liked it when she made pancakes, but they were all burnt, and she was like, ooh, I'm gonna eat the pancakes anyway, and he was like, hang on, you might get sick, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, that was adorable, I love that part.
Yeah. Reminds me of how I'll be once I'm a father. I'll be just like them. I'll tell her not to touch me, otherwise she will get cursed and die. I'll never give my daughter any physical affection, but she'll know deep down I still love and provide for her.
There we go.
So Hunter, how'd you feel about this movie?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Bummer. Would you still like to give it a rating anyway?
I probably shouldn't. I'll decline.
Okay, fair enough. Jackson, would you like to kick off the ratings here?
I gave it a B.
A B? That's honestly really shocking to me. I thought that you enjoyed this movie like a pretty good deal. I was honestly a little scared that I was going to be the one coming down much further on it, but I'm happy to hear I also gave it a B. Dylan is not currently here right now, but he gave an A-. How about you, Tanner?
I also gave it an A-.
Whoa, that's absurd. Jackson, where does that movie fall then?
B+.
Whoa.
Absurd.
We could have guessed that.
Wow, math.
Anyway, the next one is
what's
Nico's.
next?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Holy shit, what movie was it?
A Christmas Story Christmas.
Insane. Yeah, Christmas Story Christmas. So this is, of course, the sequel to the heavily beloved A Christmas Story. So check it out. In this movie, you've got Ralphie, okay? He's much older now. He's much wiser. He's he's just trying to make it in this world as an author now, okay? He's got his own little family, and he's going around trying to get this book published, but no one's biting, okay? They all fucking hate it. They despise it. He's a massive fucking nerd. They're like, whatever, dude. Sci-fi, get out of here. You ain't no George Lucas. But then Christmas is coming up. It's right around the corner. And he gets a phone call from his dear old mom, and unfortunately, his pops died, okay? He passed away. And so now he's traveling out to South Carolina, wherever the fuck they live, to just have Christmas with them.
It was not South Carolina.
I don't know where it is, so just,
It was like Wisconsin or something.
He's going out there to keep her company. And while he's there, he's like, okay, well, I need to make this the best Christmas ever. Got to make sure that my mom just loves it. She absolutely adores it. And from there, hijinks ensue, okay? We have some nice little, parallels to the original Christmas Story. We get to meet a bunch of them characters again who just dearly missed for so long and see what they're at in their lives at this point. And yeah, we just kind of go around for a while, see these folks enjoy their nice little Christmas, and eventually Ralphie, he gets fucking arrested, guys. He gets arrested for breaking and entering into his friend's bar because he just needed to get the star for the Christmas tree. Otherwise, Christmas is ruined. And guess who he gets arrested by, boys? It was the very same bully from the very first movie. And it turns out the bully, he's not going to be throwing him in the slam or anything like that tonight. He's bringing him back home because, hey, you know what? That beating is just what he needed to get on the straight and narrow. And then they enjoy Christmas, and they sing some, really racially charged Chinese songs in the end.
Yay.
I don't know about you guys, but I feel like this is a very delightful little film.
I agree. I liked this one.
Jackson, how did you personally feel about it, though? I feel like you were much more down on this one than we were.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of fucking boring throughout most of it.
Why do you think that is, dude? You've seen the original Christmas Story, right?
Yeah, I'm not looking at it as a sequel. I'm just looking at it as a standalone film, and it was fucking boring.
What was so boring about it, man?
I don't know. I don't really like the fucking comedy that much. The story was super generic. It was a fucking Christmas story, and that's the point, but, it's still a generic fucking Christmas story. The emotional stuff didn't really work on me. I don't know.
Jackson wishes his father was dead.
Yeah, I think that, the emotional stuff hit pretty well for me, personally, Like, that first scene where he gets the news that his father passed away, I feel like that hit very hard for me.
I agree.
And I feel like that show was generally pretty well done. The comedy, it was fine for the most part. I think the only part of the comedy that I wasn't, super into was when they were, got all the fucking drunkies in town and just, had them doing, sleigh rides and shit like that. I was like, okay, this is kind of whatever at this point.
Goofy.
Yeah, this is getting to some, more Adam Sandler sort of territory that I'm not as fond of. Everything outside of that was fairly, just kind of wholesome Christmas comedy, I guess.
Yes. Especially the part where he fucking nails his daughter in the eye. Blinds her.
That shit was fucking fire. I loved that.
Yeah.
Now, Hunter, you've seen the original Christmas Story, right?
This is correct, I have.
And did you enjoy that one very much? You want to review that film as well here?
I haven't seen that one in a while, but from what I remember, it's a nice little ditty. Nothing too crazy, but it's an entertaining Christmas movie.
All right, Hunter. Now, just imagine if they took that film. They just aged the characters up by 40 years or whatever. They killed off half of them.
Good.
And then they just had them really let loose and just no holds barred anymore, okay? It's absolute chaos from start to finish. How does that sound to you?
Wow, that sounds like a pretty decently ranked movie to me then.
Unfortunately it's not, because this movie does still have its fair share of issues. Like Jackson said, it is pretty generic for the most part, but I don't know. At the same time, I feel like for just a Christmas film, I don't think they need to do anything super crazy, generally speaking. As Tanner talked about last week, it does still have those darker notes to make it a bit more of a somber film in places. I don't think it's as much of an outright, comedy as the first one was. Which, like, looking back, I don't even know just how much of a comedy the first one was either. But they definitely, they cut back on a lot of, like, the daydreaming and stuff like that. They don't have quite as much of it in this film. But at the same time, they still do have a little bit of it. So that, there's still the same old Ralphie. He's still a dreamer. He still wants to make something of himself in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was impressed by... I thought they struck a really good balance between, like, how many references they put to the old movie and, like, actually having some restraint. Like, they didn't have the leg lamp in there.
Yeah.
It would have been so easy for them to do that, and they didn't, and I was kind of impressed that they had that restraint.
Yeah. To be fair, I believe that the leg lamp does get destroyed in the first film, so...
Well, I didn't remember that.
Okay.
They found a way.
Yeah, if this was in the hands of a much more hack director, he would have been like, yeah, they glued it back together.
His dad bought a new one.
Yeah, they would have done the Kylo Ren helmet treatment to it.
He was so infatuated, it became the object of his obsession for years. He hunted another one down. Mm-hmm. It tore the family apart. Yeah, I don't know. Tanner, do you have any more thoughts on the film at all?
No, really. I agree with everything you said. It's got great Christmas vibes. It's a very funny and endearing film. I haven't seen the old one in a long time, but there's a decent chance I actually prefer this one to it.
Yeah, I definitely think this one stands up there among that one. I personally don't think it's quite as good. I feel like, there's still a lot of nostalgia speaking there, so I might just need to... go back and look at a fresh set of eyes. But I don't know. I feel like there are a lot more iconic moments in the original one than there are here. But at the same time, I do still think this is a pretty delightful little shanty. So as for our ratings, though, Dylan gave this movie a B+. Jackson, how about you? What are you thinking?
B-.
Jesus. I'm going to give this one a... Actually, I'm probably going to give it a B+ along with Dylan. How about you, Tanner?
I gave this one an A+.
Holy smokes.
I really liked Christmas.
I liked Christmas as well.
It's a B+.
Whoa, another B+.
Speaking of B+,
Swamp Thing.
That's right, guys. We watched the 1982 Swamp Thing, directed by Wes Craven of Nightmare on Elm Street fame. Swamp Thing is the story of a man named Alec Holland, who's a plant scientist out in the bayou. He's trying to find a way to make super plants, and he accidentally discovers a formula that just... I guess I'm kind of unclear on what exactly the formula does, but it's crazy and whatever. And he gets attacked by a group of mercenaries trying to steal his research, and he gets that gunk all over him, and it fucking lights him on fire, and then he dives into the swamp, thus transforming into the Swamp Thing. There's also a lady scientist who I guess is maybe our main character. Maybe? I don't know. And she's running around doing stuff, trying to avoid these mercenaries that are trying to hunt her down, because she has his last notebook that they need. And then as she's running around, Swamp Thing keeps showing up to save her. And then eventually, he saves her, and she realizes, oh, this is Alec Holland, the scientist. And they start having a little love story between the two of them, even though he's a gross, disgusting plant monster.
Aww.
Eventually, they are captured and taken to the villain's dungeon, where they find the villain manages to make a new batch of the formula. But for some reason, when he forcibly has one of his henchmen drink the formula, it turns him into a tiny werewolf-looking kind of creature. Not really a werewolf. It like shrinks him down into a little person size, and he's covered in hair. It's weird. And then the bad guy drinks it, and he turns into a werewolf for some reason. And then he grabs a medieval sword and starts chasing Swamp Thing around until they fight, and Swamp Thing fucking stabs him in the chest with a sword. The end.
Epic.
Nico, what'd you think about this movie?
This movie sucked, dude.
Damn.
It wasn't very good, but in other parts, it was kind of funny. I don't think it was intentional, though. At the very least, we did get to see some tits throughout it, which I thought was pretty nice. Apparently, that's due to us watching the international release of the movie. They had done that for, release in Europe and shit like that, because they believe that European people are, way into that kind of shit, which...
European are perverts.
Yeah, I believe it, personally.
They're just horny.
You're a pervert.
Yeah. That's also why they made the villain so, stereotypically European as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They thought it'd play better over there.
Makes sense to me, I guess.
Tanner, how do you feel
Jackson-
about this one? You seemed like real jazzed about it. You were just cracking and cackling the entire time.
Oh yeah, I love this movie. This movie is fucking hilarious.
Do you believe the Swamp Thing is perhaps a modern classic?
It's from 1982, so I'd say no.
Is it a classic?
Oh yeah, this one's going right into the top of my list of movies I recommend randomly to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought this movie was fucking funny as hell, and I was surprised at how action-packed it was. Like, when the lady scientist, she fucking grabs a gun and just fucking destroys some guy. That was fucking funny.
I definitely thought this was going to be much more of like a monster
like
movie.
a horror movie, yeah. It really kind of wasn't, which was interesting. That fire stunt they had in there, that was, like, actually sweet. I thought that was cool as fuck, and I really liked that part.
Yeah, the guy just gets fucking completely doused in flames and runs right into the swamp.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was pretty cool. You know, it's just a bundle of laughs for me the entire time, especially how Swamp Thing, he's fighting these guys, but he never kills them. He just kind of picks them up and throws them into the swamp.
Yeah. Except for when he, crushes that guy's skull.
Yeah, except for that guy. But other than that, he's mostly non-lethal. And then, yeah, the ending is so goofy with the guy turning into a werewolf. That didn't make any sense. And then he grabs that sword and he's just running around after them. And then the Bruno thing being turned into that little gremlin creature, whatever. It's just a lot of really confusing decisions that are very entertaining.
Yeah.
So this one pretty firmly lands in a so bad it's good movie for me. Especially, that kid, Jude?
Yeah.
That kid was so, like, the entire mythos of that character was so bewildering to me that I was cracking up. I love that kid. He's my favorite character.
I believe that when Dylan was talking about him last night, he compared him to Mushmouth from fucking Fat Albert.
Dylan would not have made that comparison, but I'm glad you did, I guess.
Dude, Dylan was a big fan of the live-action Fat Albert movie. What are you talking about? The one starring Kenan Thompson?
Anyway, but yeah, the idea that this is seemingly like a 14-year-old kid who owns a gas station, that was funny as hell.
Yeah.
There are a few boring stretches in this movie, but I think they're pretty brief for the most part, so I'm fine with that. And then, the ending was just, like, I was dying of laughter at that part, especially when the Swamp Thing looks at the girl and he says, "I'll always be with you," and then he walks off into the swamp.
Why did he even say that?
Why would he say that? That had me dying of laughter. That could have put me on the floor if I were alone, but
it's so stupid, man. It's so dumb.
It is.
Like,
it's very silly.
That's the most fucking generic cliche way of ending a movie. But because this movie is old, it was actually the first one to do that, and because I can't think of another movie that did that off the top of my head, you can't dispute it.
Yeah, exactly. Swamp Thing was the first instance of the "I'll always be with you" trope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a great time. I think this is a very entertaining watch in that, you'll just have a laugh a minute with this one.
Now, Jackson, you also enjoyed this movie a fair bit. How did you feel about it?
Oh no.
Well, surely you must have some thoughts on it.
I mean, it's total dog shit. It looked like they had something going at the start, and then the direction of the movie just crumbled to pieces.
Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate.
I mean,
how much of a fucking nightmare do you think it was to shoot this movie?
Very. That's probably why it turned into a nightmare to direct later on. Just wanted to get it done.
Yeah, that's probably why they randomly end up in like a medieval castle at the end. Like, fuck this, we can't film in a swamp anymore. This is ridiculous. Hello?
Howdy, I was just shutting off the Roomba.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess let's go to our rankings.
Alright, to kick us off here, Dylan gave this movie a rating, which I am going to read to you right now, a B-.
I gave it a B+.
A B+? That sounds much lower than I was expecting.
Well, it's not a good movie. I just said it's entertaining. Like, being entertaining can only carry a movie so far. Yeah, approximately into B+ rank.
Okay. Jackson, how'd you feel about this one?
I gave it a D.
Damn. I think I'll give it a D+ personally.
Crazy.
The problem, like, the difference between this movie and Waxwork is that Waxwork is, like, trying to be funny, and it's really leaning into it. which is why I think it's so bad it's funny. This movie is just really fucking bad, and we're laughing at it being bad, and that's less excusable for me.
Yeah, I have the complete opposite thoughts. I think being unintentionally bad is much funnier.
To each their own. What the fuck does that make it? I don't know. C.
Whoa.
And speaking of C-tier movies, Jackson, what are you going to be picking for the next week?
What the fuck am I picking for the next week? I had a pick in mind and then I immediately forgot what the name of it is. I'm picking Liz and the Bluebird.
What the fuck is that?
Some anime movie.
I think so, yeah.
When you say that, I immediately think of Matilda. Is it like Matilda?
I don't know anything about this movie.
Huh. It definitely,
Liz and the Bluebird?
it definitely looks like an anime movie, I would say.
Yeah, Liz and the Bluebird.
It looks like the sort of schlocky stuff you're really into.
What do you mean?
I don't think you're using the word schlock correctly right there.
Dude, Jackson's really into schlock.
I fucking typed out the name of the movie on the wrong fucking Discord server. Oops.
When I said schlock, I meant schmaltz. It looks like the sort of schmaltzy stuff you're into. Well, I can't wait to
Dylan
watch
chose Gremlins.
Gremlins?
Yes.
That's right. Dylan said that he wanted to watch another Christmas movie, so that's what he went with.
And then the Patreon picked Nightmare Before Elm Street. What's the fuck? Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yes, we've got a fucking sweeping handful of Christmas movies this time around. A solid 3 of them. I can't wait to check them out. Much like how
Is
Jackson...
Liz and the Bluebird a Christmas movie?
Yes. Much like how Jackson can't wait to tell the people about the Patreon.
Hold on. Where is it? Where's the stuff again? I found it. You get access to our pre-show. You get to see the episodes early. You get access to our Discord. You can request movies and topics. You get 500 slime coins. Thank you. Also, you get your name read out.
Insane, just like I'm gonna do right now. Thank you so much to Raheem Rajawani, Kyler Nikolai, briefly interrupting the name reading to say I'm a hebephile, Topperman Man, Joshua Bean, Cuties is my favorite movie because the girls are so cute and funny, Tupbot, Lucas Ludette, Hunter, and Jacob Edwards. Hunter, which of those is your favorite patron?
Probably Lucas.
Fair play, honestly. And with that, guys, I don't know, do we want to keep going? We definitely haven't hit the hour yet.
That's fine. We did we did our longest episode ever last week. We can make this a short one.
Fair enough then. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.